Hello YouTube, my name is Phoenix, and today we're gonna code a snake game using good old JavaScript and HTML. So the first thing we're gonna do is set up a canvas. I'll give it an ID of canvas because, well, it's the canvas. Let's set it up with a width of 400 pixels and a height of 400 pixels as well. Let's keep it simple and square. After that, we're going to create a script tag, and in here we'll set up the game logic, starting with a window.onload function, where we are going to set up the actual canvas element. So let me do that. Var canvas is equal to document dot get element by ID. The ID is, of course, canvas. We just set it up. The context is going to be 2D, so canvas.getContext 2D. Nope, not SD. And then what do we need? We need two things. We need to set up some key inputs and the game interval as well. So let's start with the keys. Document.add event listener of key down, and we're gonna pass in the key push function, which we'll create in just a few seconds, and then the game loop set interval. We're gonna pass in the game function, which we're also gonna set up in just a few seconds, and it's going to be. It's a snake game, so we don't need that much FPS. So let's set it to 15 frames per second. Let me just get back up here and declare the context variable. I know JavaScript doesn't always need that, but it's good practice. Alright, so what next? We need the key push and the game function, so let's do that right now. Function game. We're not going to pass anything in it. And then we have the function key push, I called it. Great. Let's start with the key push function. We're going to pass in an event inside of it. And then we're going to use a switch statement. So switch event.keycode. And we're going to look at the arrow keys. So those key codes are 37, 38, 39, and 40 for left, up, right, and down. So let's do that. Case 37, and then, oh, I don't want to do that. Autocomplete is your friends sometimes, not all the time. And let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, so 37, 38, 39, and 40. So this is just comment some code here. So that's left. Here is up. That would be right. And the last one is down. So in here, we're going to set up the X and Y velocity. So X velocity is, let's just default it to 0 for now. So X and Y velocity, I should have copied those with these here. There. All right. And let's also declare those at the top here. So var X velocity is equal to 0. And we're also going to do var Y velocity is equal to 0 as well. All right, so going left, X velocity is going to be -1, Y velocity 0. Going down, the Y velocity is going to be -1. Going right, the X velocity is going to be 1. And then going down, the Y velocity is going to be 1. I said going down here, but it's actually going up. So -1, -1, 1, 1. There it is. All right, so let's go ahead and set up some global variables we're going to use throughout the game loop. We are going to need a grid size because our snake is not gonna move throughout the whole 400 by 400 pixels of the canvas. That would be way too large. So let's say 20. I think 20 is a good starting point. We're also gonna set up a tile count, which is also going to be 20. So let's just set it to the grid size right here. We need the apple position. So apple X, let's start at 15, and apple Y, 15 as well. Just like that. We're also going to need a position for our snake. So X position. Let's start at 10, which is the center of the actual canvas. Let's not forget our declarations. Var. So we got the X position of the snake, we got the Y position, we have the velocity, we have the grid size and the tile count, we have the apple X and apple Y. There's two last thing we're gonna need, the actual trail. So let's set up an array for that. So that's the size of the snake, and we're gonna start at a length of 5. So tail length is equal to 5. Now for the actual game loop, there's 4 things we're going to do. We're going to start by drawing the background. Afterwards, we are going to update the snake position. We're going to need to draw the snake. And lastly, we will draw the apple. So let's start with the background. We're just going to draw a simple black square. So context.fill style, it's going to be black, like so. And then context.fill rect, like I said, a rectangle. Let's start at the top left, and we want canvas.width and canvas.height, which is the size of the canvas we just set up. Oh, and I misspelled fill style here. It takes a capital S. Next, the position. That's pretty simple, actually. We're just going to go ahead and set the position X. Actually, I called it X position. I don't like that. Let's rename those. Position X. Position X and position Y. There. So position X plus equals X velocity, and we're going to do the same thing for position Y and Y velocity. Pretty straightforward. So in this game, I want the snake to actually wrap around the canvas and not die when you hit the border. So let's do that. If position X is smaller than 0, we're going to do something here. Let's not put those brackets inside here, like that. And we're going to need that for all the directions. So position X smaller than 0 if position X is greater than tile count -1, which is the size of the canvas. Position Y if it's smaller than 0, and same thing here. Position Y if it's greater than tile count -1. There. All right, so here we want to reset the position X is equals to tile count -1. Here, same thing. Position X is equal to 0. Here, position Y is equal to tile count -1 as well. And lastly, position Y is equal to 0. Good, so we got position update, we got position wrap, so if we hit the borders, we just spawn on the other side. Let's draw the snake next. So let's start by drawing the actual color. well, not drawing it, but actually deciding the color. Fill style again with the capital S, and let's put it yellow. I don't particularly like that color, but that's the one I chose. All right, so we need to remember the trail here that we set up. We need to draw each square, each pixel, each position in that array, and that's the whole snake. So if I have 5 positions, I need to draw all 5 of them. So let's do that in a for loop. So for var I is equal to 0, I is, as long as it's smaller as trail.length, I plus plus. And let's do that. So context dot fill rect, and we want to draw at the position of the trail. So trail I dot x, trail. Actually, we also want to multiply that by the grid size because we have yeah. So times the grid size, and then we want trail I dot y for the y position. Same thing here, times grid size. And we want to draw it a, what's the size? So grid size -2 would be good. Not too big, not too small. We're gonna be able to see it pretty clearly. So what do I have here? So fill rect, trail x true times grid size, trail y times grid size, and grid size -2, grid size -2. Perfect, 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 perfect. Now one thing we need, if we go ahead and move and then we hit the snake, the actual position we are in, we need to reset the length of the actual snake. So when you hit yourself, you lose. So let's do just that. If trail.x is equal to position x and trail.y is equal to position y, then here that's no good. We need to reset the tail length is equal to 5. That's the length we've decided first. Yeah. All right, so that seems pretty good. Let me just type in position x properly here. Position x, position y. That should work pretty good. Now we also need to update the actual trail array each time we move. So let's do that. Trail.push, and we're gonna push an object in here. So that's not usually best practice to instantiate objects that way, but let's do it for now. It's fine. X is going to be position x, and y is going to be position y. Like so. And if we do that continually, then the snake will just always grow. We need to prevent that. So if it's if the trail is greater than the tail length we've set up, we're gonna shift the last position in there. So let's do that. If if trail.length is greater than the tail length, then trail.shift. So that should, in theory, keep that all good. Let's draw the apple and then test that if it works. We want the apple color to be red. If you're one of the persons that eat green apples, good for you. I prefer red ones. And we're also going to draw the actual apple. Don't fill rect. Yeah, not lift rect, fill rect. And let's draw it at apple x times grid size, the same as before. Apple y times grid size. And then grid size minus 2. And grid size minus 2. Apple X, grid size, Apple Y, grid size minus 2. All right, cool. Cool. Now, we drew the apple, but when the snake actually hits the apple or eats it, we need to change the position of it to somewhere else at random. So let's do that. If apple X is equal to position X and apple Y is equal to position Y, position, I'm having trouble with that word today. Apple X, position X, we need to remove the T here. Apple Y, position Y. So if the snake's head is at an apple position, let's increase the tail length. Tail length plus, and we also need to change the position. So apple X is going to be math dot floor at a random position. So math at random and random position in the tiles. So tile count. Apple X math at floor math dot random times tile count. Let's do the same thing for apple Y. Yeah, so this seems good. Let's open the browser, refresh, and it's not working. Of course it's not. Let's debug a bit. Okay, context is not defined. Why is context not defined? Let's have a look at the code here. Context. I'm using it in game here, but I'm not passing it to game. I wonder if it's because I have the var declaration in front. That's dumb. Let's try it. Let's remove both of them. Let's see what happens next. Y velocity is not defined. Okay, so you don't get a coding video without its share of errors, I believe. Y velocity. What's the problem here? Y velocity. Capital Y, that is the reason. So let's save that, refresh. Position to X is not defined. Of course it's not. Position X, position Y, position T here as well. Oh boy. Sorry about all those errors. Fifth rect. Fail rect, of course. You guys probably caught that before I even did. Oh, good. No. So the background is white, and for some reason our snake is doing some stupid things. Let's try and catch the apple. Oh, we have an error as well. Match is not defined. This is making me look bad, but I don't care. I wrote that quickly without looking. So math here. Why would the snake? Oh, shift. The trail.shift here, so it's not if, it's a while loop. So as long as the trail length is greater than the tail length, we should shift. So hopefully that fixes that. No, it does not. Did I save? This is strange. So the background is not black, it's white. Let's try and fix that first. Maybe that's causing some issues. So fill style black, that's right. Fill rect 0, canvas.width, canvas.height th. I misspelled height here. HD. Cross fingers. Okay, so the background is black now. And our snake is 5 squares long. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's try and get the apple. I'm not that good at this game, but still. So I seem to be getting bigger. Come on, come on. There, I got it here. If I go back on myself, I also lose some squares, so I need to not do that. Okay, and I am getting bigger. Awesome. Let's play around a bit. Cool, so that seems to be working. And what happens if I try to eat myself? I revert back to 5. Awesome. So yeah, that was a quick coding session. We did the snake game. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you again next time. I should make more videos.